Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson, CEO of Loyalty360, welcoming you to another Loyalty360 Thought Leadership series. In this series, we talk to leaders in customer, channel, and brand loyalty about the technology that impacts the ability to drive unique experiences and engagement. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Len Covello, the Chief Technology Officer for Engaged People. Len, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Hey, Mark, pleasure. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
Absolutely. So first off, could you tell us a little bit about Engaged People and your role in the organization?
Absolutely. So Engaged People is a technology solution provider focusing on the loyalty industry. We bring technology solutions to help brands both run their loyalty programs and execute all aspects of that. So from setup and managing the day-to-day operations and the rewards portion of it, right down to redemption, which is really where our technology is evolving the industry.
Okay, and what is the biggest challenge that your clients face in regard to driving deeper customer loyalty?
I think there's a number of challenges. I think technology availability is a challenge in general. So access to solutions that can really create that engagement with that customer. Customers today are looking for a more personalized experience, more opportunity to use that program, and I think that technology's there. It's really bringing that to the program. So enabling these program administrators to use what's out in the market today.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think we see a lot of that from our membership on the brand side. They have reward solutions that may not be unique, differentiating, and aren't necessarily driving the actionable results they're looking for. That's great to hear that that's what you guys are focused on. If you could recommend one thing to a client to help them with this challenge, what would that be?
I think I'd recommend that they start with the member first. So that customer who's interacting with the program you want to create emotional engagement with that customer. So going through that user experience on all aspects of how that program's run. So how they earn, and make sure that that's unique and tailored specifically to what that customer is looking for, directly to ultimately that reward, so how they burn.
What do you believe the next big thing is in regard to customer loyalty?
I really think the next big thing is around that frictionless redemption experience. So it's that points as a currency, that limitless redemption option, that ability for someone to take the points, the miles, whatever currency they've earned, and now use that in the brands that they're already engaging with today from day to day. So it's really that limitless redemption.
Okay. And how sophisticated are most brands' customer experience and customer loyalty efforts? We see a great dichotomy in level of sophistication, both in how sophisticated they think they are and actually what they are. So how sophisticated do you think brands' customer experience and customer loyalty efforts are?
I couldn't agree with you more. I think we see the same thing from our side, especially as we engage with new clients on either restarting their program, reshaping their program. You've got some tremendous brands out there doing some really wonderful things, and they've got strong departments with good people managing that program. And then we've seen fairly large organizations operating out of the cards department or the marketing department with a really small team. And with that small team comes limited capabilities. So I think the sophistication stretches across both sides of the gamut, but I'd argue a lot of companies still aren't there yet with what's available to them.
Okay. What is the single most important thing that you've done for a customer or client to help them increase their measurable customer loyalty?
I think it goes back to the redemption side as well. So we brought some products to market that allow consumers to redeem really limitlessly on any e-commerce site anywhere in the world. So creating that connection, eliminating that intermediary. I know gift cards are fairly popular in these programs, and they're really just solving for a problem that customer is looking to interact with a brand that they love, they've got that engagement with today, but that relationship doesn't exist between the loyalty program. So we brought some products to market that create that direct connection between the sponsor, the brand running the loyalty program, and the redemption partner, ultimately that customer wants to engage with. So you can create that connection from start to finish.
Okay. Another thing we hear a lot of talk about, and it's obviously for a while, we have personalization. Very important, very top of mind for brands these days. How important is personalization in customer loyalty efforts that you're working with, and kind of where do you see personalization fitting in with your product offering?
So it's really important, and it's important for two reasons. Is you want to make sure that you're communicating with a customer in not a very broad range. So you're not casting a wide net across all your customers. They're fairly sophisticated today. They understand that you're collecting a lot of data on them. So I think they expect more. Loyalty is being judged against the everyday consumer shopping on an e-commerce site. And if we think of what the likes of what Amazon can do around making recommendations and understanding not just your purchasing behavior, but your browsing behavior and your intent, I think that personalization needs to come to the loyalty industry. And we bring that in through machine learning and segmentation as well. So we're bringing those aspects to the program to help our customer do that. And we're trying to do it as efficiently as possible because it is a large task.
Excellent. When you look at the California privacy regulations, what's happening with GDPR, California obviously coming next year, what are you seeing? What strategies should brands be considering with regard to privacy and stricter data regulations?
I see these things as good things, and I know a lot of people will take a step back because I know they add overhead, they enforce process, but at the end of the day, what you're really doing is protecting yourself and you're protecting your customers. So these policies that have come into place are just further enforcing the fact that, as I mentioned earlier on, we are collecting a lot of data on a consumer. We have a tremendous amount of information. And I think we have an obligation to make sure we protect that data, to make sure that we're respecting the consumer's privacy. And loyalty is about a relationship. They're willing to give you that data, and what they expect in return is some value for that. And they expect you to take care of that data and to treat it in a fashion that you don't want it out there. That PII is very important to a customer. So as long as you're using it efficiently, I think it's great to collect it. You want to make sure you're using it, and you want to make sure you protect it.
And then what strategies or what do you have coming up on your roadmap with regard to customer loyalty, personalization, new product offering? What does your roadmap look like? And how, most importantly, how are you developing that roadmap?
So the roadmap piece around here is really fun. We've got the luxury of working with some pretty large global brands. So they kind of show us what's under the hood, what they're working on, and we share the same with them. And that really drives conversation around what's possible. At the same time, the technology is just moving so fast, and the capabilities from the likes of Google and Amazon are moving so fast as well. So we bring all that together, and that gap is kind of shrinking from what you want to do and what's achievable these days. So a lot more is achievable. And we take that and we start to use, again, I mentioned machine learning and AI and bringing that to market along with the ability to redeem really anywhere in the world. And there's some pretty exciting things you'll see out of us working with some pretty major partners. And you'll see things coming in 2020 from Engage that I think kind of close the loop on everything I've been chatting about today and really connect that consumer with the brands they want to interact with.
Well, that's awesome. Looking forward to learning more about that in 2020 for sure. And a lot of talk right now around authenticity and trust with regard to brands and customers and kind of embellishing that and building that. What do authenticity and trust mean to you? There's a lot of discussion right now from our brand community around those two topics. What do you see in your arena with regard to authenticity and trust?
It's a huge topic, and again, it touches all sides of running these programs. You don't get a second chance at trust. I think Facebook is learning that the hard way in today's day and age with today's consumer. So back to the earlier comments about you gain that trust by respecting the consumer's privacy, the consumer's willingness to interact with you at that level. And as long as you respect that, I think you can gain that level of trust and then bring value back to the consumer. And once that trust is there and you continue to respect that trust, it really says a lot for the emotional engagement of that consumer with your brand. So authenticity it's extremely important. It's a topic across all of our clients and all of our engagements. And we promote the same thing. It is respect that relationship. It's ultimately a relationship. And if you do that, you'll keep that trust with the consumer, and that brings tremendous value.
Excellent. And the last question I have is, what direction do you see customer loyalty programs heading in the next 2 to 3 years? What do you think we'll see more of, and what do you think we'll see less of, and how will that impact the market?
Sure. So I think we're going to see more competition across programs. We're going to see a lot more programs get launched, but we're also going to see kind of I won't say the death, but the programs today that were operating in a very siloed fashion, or the old school coalition programs that we had, and we're going to see a lot more partnerships. So these programs are going to continue to establish relationships between major brands to create that connection. And again, it's less about holding the consumer's information tight to the chest, and more working with like brands that have the same philosophy, and those relationships growing and growing. So we'll see airlines, hotels, banks, all these companies work together in specific programs to bring that end-to-end consumer journey that ultimately that customer is looking for.
Excellent. And I think that's great. Great to hear what you guys are seeing, as in we get the privilege of speaking with kind of a great cross-section of those who are focused in and around customer loyalty. And some things you're doing are obviously very germane and very important to this industry, and your proactive approach and the great roadmap that you have coming forward. Looking forward to seeing. So thank you again for taking the time to speak with us today, and thank you for everything you do for the industry.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you for the time as well. Have a great day.
Absolutely.